Hello everyone. Today we'll deal with the doctrine of relation back as laid under the chapter of adoption. Please go through the video till the end. So it says, if a widow adopts a son under the authority of her husband, then the adopted son is deemed to have come into existence in adoptive family on the day the husband died. He is put in the position of a posthumous son, and all his relations in adoptive family relates back to the date of death of adoptive father by legal fiction. Let's see an example. Suppose husband H dies on 5th Jan 2000. The widow W adopts the son on 15th Feb 2000. So according to doctrine of relation back, the son S relates back to the date of death of H. That is, son will be deemed to have come into existence on 5th Jan 2000 itself. This theory was based on a doctrine that there should be no hiatus in the continuity of the line of adoptive father. This principle applies only when the claim made by the adopted son relates to estate of his adoptive father and not in case of any collaterals. There are two exceptions to this doctrine. First one, any lawful alienation effected by a preferential heir since the death of the adoptive father and before the date of adoption was binding on the adopted son. Let's see an example. Suppose the adoptive father died on 5th Jan 2000. Son is adopted on 25th Jan 2000. The preferential heir alienates the property in between the adoptive father's death and the adoption of the son, that is on 10th Jan 2000. So the adopted son is liable and it's binding on him according to the exception. Second exception, if the property by inheritance went to a collateral, then the adoption could not divest the property which was vested in the heir of collateral. So collateral's property will not be divested. So this doctrine was under the old Hindu law, but under the new Hindu law codified act, section 12 of the Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act, it says effects of adoption, which has abrogated the doctrine. It says adopted child is deemed to have merged with the family of the adoptive parents. He is no longer the son of the natural family. So his relations with the natural family are severed. He acquires all the rights and privileges with respect to marriage, inheritance, partition in the adoptive family. He is divested all the rights in the natural family from the date of the adoption. There are some provisions, the provisos in this section. Clause A, the child cannot marry any person who he or she could not have married if continued in the birth family. Clause B, any property which vested in the adopted child before the adoption shall continue to vest in such person subject to the obligations, if any, as to the ownership, including obligation to maintain relatives of the birth family. Let's see an example. Suppose X had two sons, A and B. X died leaving them behind. B was subsequently given in adoption. So A claimed the entire property and averred that B has left behind, so he will not get his property as he is no longer the part of the natural family. So court held that soon after X's death, a share of the property of X vested in B. So B cannot be divested of that property. Clause C of the proviso, the adopted child shall not divest any person of any estate which vested in him or her before adoption. So these are the three provisos in section 12. But this doctrine of relation back has been revived by Supreme Court in some cases. A case was Savanram versus Kalavati. In this, K died issueless. The widow W inherited estate of K. She made gift to her niece N. The collaterals of K challenged as W is the limited owner and she cannot make the gift. W adopted a son of N subsequently. W then died, then the collaterals won in the appeal. Supreme Court said the adopted son could claim back like natural born son, thus the doctrine was revived in this case. Another case was Delhi Jal Board versus Mahinder Singh, AIR 2000. Here the doctrine was applied. The findings of the disciplinary inquiry relates back to the date when charges were framed, or else the official will be exempted from all the liabilities. So this is all about the doctrine of relation back under the adoption. Please like and subscribe the channel. Please support the channel. Thank you everyone.